and welcome to Creative Moments by G. My name is Georgia and you are in our Creative Corner. We are so happy that you could join us today. And you know what? Whether you're new or returning, make sure that you log into your Gmail account so that you can chat with us. My sister is running the chat room, so if you have any questions or comments, she's right there ready to answer you. We hope everyone is staying safe and healthy, and we're just so excited today. During our time today, we are going to be creating a sunflower card. And you know, after we create this card, we have four more cards to show you that we've used. We're going to use a variety of stamp sets today. So let's head down to the crafting table and let's get started. Now remember, I always like to start with the saying, right, when we go live. And here's our saying, because we're dealing with sunflowers. And so here it is. In a world full of roses, be a sunflower. And you know, what does that mean? Well, that means be your authentic self. Be yourself as you're going throughout the world. You know, we're happier when we don't have to pretend to be someone else. And just be thankful that we can do that, right? Well, so I'm going to be my authentic self today as we create this card. And I want to show you the stamp sets that we're going to be working with. I think you're really going to like these stamp sets. Now, these stamp sets are from Diamond Press. And it comes in a packet of 4 actually, but I can't find my 4th one. And it's called Thanks a Bunch, and it's all about sunflowers. Look at this one. Isn't that pretty? You're going to see we use this sentiment in one of our cards later on, and we also use this sunflower. And isn't that beautiful? Beyond grateful. And then the 3rd one is this one. Look at that. We use this in a card. I love how big it is, don't you? And then we also use this sunflower. Now that's from Diamond Press. We are also using BoBunny's background. This stamps, and isn't that pretty? Oh, I think it's so pretty. You're going to see a border that we made. Now this is the sunflower we're going to be using on our card today, and this is from Stamp Simply. And then finally we have some beautiful sentiments, and each one of these sentiments is separate. I think you're really going to like using these sentiments. So let's get started with our card. Here's the card we're going to make. It's going to be a little bit different than this, but you see how we folded it back? Then we put our beautiful sunflower on the front, stamp Sunflower Seasons, and make the best of this one right here. So let's get busy and make this card. You need to take your A2 card, and remember, all the dimensions will be listed below, so all you have to click is on the description, and you'll be able to find that later today or tomorrow morning. So you're going to get an A2 card, and you're going to get a mat for the front of it, and then we're going to mat it again, just like that. And then we, of course, have a mat on the inside. What I'm going to do first is let's get those mats laid down so that I can show you how to cut that designer series paper, right? Because it is a little different, and it does create a little fold. A fold back is what I like to call it. So you need to see exactly how that's done. So let's get this glue going, and I'm going to get all the mats down first. And we did leave a border around the sides, so it's a smaller mat than the original card. And you know what I like about the wet glue, right, is you can move it around until you get it right where you want it. Let's go ahead and get the mat laid down on the inside so that we don't have to worry about that. Now you're probably wondering, oh my goodness, how is she going to create that fold back? So you're going to take this card, and this is actually 5.5. Well, actually, let's see what it is. Let's go ahead and get our ruler out so that we get it exactly half of it. So it's 5. So we're going to put it in our trimmer because we need to create a flap, right? We're going to put it in our trimmer, and I'm actually going to cut it. Now, you don't have to use a trimmer to do this. You could just use a pair of scissors, but I like it to match exactly. So I'm going to just go about right in the middle and see how we've cut it. There we go. Now I'm going to bring in my ruler and just whatever you want to use. You can use a bone folder. You can use whatever so that you can bring this flat back. I'm going to put it right on the point, and just so you know, I'm going to leave a little bit. I'm not going to do it to the point right there. I'm going to come down about 1/2 inch. And you'll see how pretty it looks. So we're going to line it up about 1/2 inch, and I'm just going to crease it. Then I'm going to do the same thing to this one. We go to the point and give myself about 1/2 inch. And now look what happens. We just fold it back. Now what you need to make sure and do is make sure that on your designer series paper that whatever you fold it back and it looks like, it really does need to match whatever your card is, because I had to search high and low in all my designer series paper to make sure that I got something that I liked with sunflowers, right? So what we're going to do now is we're just going to lay this down, because I do want to stamp my sentiment first, because otherwise this would get in the way, wouldn't it? So I'm just going to get this exactly the way I want it, and I can see right there I need to come over just a little bit more and crease that. There we go. And I'm going to take a pencil, and I'm just going to very lightly go right here so I can tell where I'm going to stamp. Now I'm going to take Sunflower Season from the stamp Simply. It's so pretty. Oh my goodness, this calligraphy is so pretty. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and stamp it with Shaded Spruce, because I thought it was so pretty. And I'm going to stay within that border, and I'm just going to turn it like this, and I'm going to, here's my little border, so I'm going to stay right there. I'm going to make sure I see it, and I'm just going to stamp it right there. And I'm going to hold it down so that I get a really good contact. There we have it. Now I'm going to stamp Season. Just going to put it right here. And then I'm going to go back in and erase those lines, right? Because we don't want those lines. But yet I had to stay right where I needed to be so as not to go outside. And there we have it. See how you can see it? Just perfectly. So I'm going to go ahead and use my wet glue. We're going to get this all glued up on the back, and then we're just going to lay it down and making sure it's exactly where I need it. Now, I will tell you, when you put your sunflower here, they kind of fold up like this, right? Now, I don't like that. So what I do is I just take a little mini dimensional and I just put it on the back, just so it holds it in place a little bit, but yet still gives it some height, right? Because I like that on our card. So we're just gonna see, and now it just lays down perfectly. Sunflower Season, so pretty. And this is just the first mat, right? That's why it's a little bit different than the first card we made. I'll show you that difference in a little bit. Now we need to stamp. I'm going to put this to the side, and we are going to stamp our sunflower. You just need a white piece of paper that is really good quality, and we are using Whisper White. And I'm just going to take some early espresso, because I don't want it to be too dark, the outline. I just want it to be just enough. So I'm going to go in, and I'm going to stamp our sunflower and hold it down. Oh, look at that. Isn't that pretty? Look at that. Oh, I think it's so pretty. Now what I'm going to do is take some blends, and I have several different colors here that I'll list, and I am just going to use the small tip right here. Let's see if I can get in a little bit closer. And we are just going to highlight a few of the lines. Just go down like this and go over them, because really if you put too much on here, then you lose all the depth. So we're just going to go over these lines, and then we're going to come back in with a lighter color. And you can always go back in if you need to add some darker shading to it. That's not a problem at all, right? So I just want to show you how we do this. And I love using the blending tools. Have you used them before? Now we're coming in with a much lighter color. We're going to come in with a lighter color here. And I'm going to use the blending side and just kind of go over it a little bit. And then I'm going to come back in with a yellow. We're just going to come in and we're just going to color it. And that will give it some depth, but it'll also make it brighter. It's going to go in, finish coloring over it to lighten up those lines just a little bit. And now we're going to come in with this color, and we're just going to shade just a little bit around the outside of the sunflower. And then we're going to come back in with a light color and just blend that so that it's not quite so dark, and the line between the two kind of dissipates, right, because of the alcohol. But it just looks like shading. Now we need to come in and do the leaves. So we're going to start with our darker, and we're just going to go on the veins of the leaf. And then we're going to come back in with the lighter color, and we're just going to go over the dark, and you'll still be able to see the shading. So now I want to show you what we're going to do to this bud. We're going to take our darker color, and we are just going to very lightly go over the shaded areas that they already have for you, because in this stamp, of course, they provide you some lines, right? And that bud hasn't opened yet, so we need to go ahead and come back in with a lighter color and just go over it and kind of pull that dark color up a little bit. And then we're going to come in again, and we're going to do the stems just so I can show you what that looks like. Okay. It doesn't take long at all, but oh my goodness, sunflowers, they are such happy flowers, aren't they? As you can tell, I have sunflowers on my table. And so this is what it's going to look like. And I have already done one, and I've cut it out. So let's look at the one I've already colored. Very similar to what you saw. Now the way you get that on here is we're going to go ahead and put dimensionals. We're going to use our large ones. And we're just going to make sure that we have enough on there so that it doesn't dip in, right? Because we don't want that. If you send it in the mail, we want it to hold its shape. So I'm going to need a few little minis down here on the stem. So we'll just put one there. And let's see if we can put one there and not see it. Now I'm going to take my Take Your Pick tool so that I can take these off. And just take the backing of the dimensionals off. Okay. Now we're going to take off the mini ones, and then we will get this put on the card. Now you want to keep it off your saying, right? So pretty. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to come in with some sparkly, right? So I'm going to use some sparkle just to go over the top of the sunflower. And you know what? When you do that, it deepens the color that you've used, in addition to giving us some sparkle, because I always say you can never have enough sparkle, right? We're going to put it on the leaf down here, and then go ahead and put it on this leaf and the other one. And I think I'll put it on the bud as well, because I do love my sparkles. Okay, let's look at that. Can you see it sparkle? Oh, isn't that pretty? Now we need to put something on the inside, right? So we are going to use our crushed curry, and we're going to put just a little sunflower on the inside. And you know what? This design you can use with any flower that you have. It doesn't have to be a sunflower. I just happen to love sunflowers. I think they're a very happy flower, and I like to use them. So we have this, we have sunflower season, and now we need to stamp our final saying. I think we'll just put it right here in the middle, and let's see what we have. Oh, look at that. So here's our sunflower card, and I just love this design. The flaps that fold back. You could do this with anything, and you leave your mat down so that you can see your stamp. And then on the inside, make the best of this one, and we have our sunflower. This is the one we created today. But remember, the Crafting Corner is all about the possibilities with the stamp sets that we're working with. So let me go over and show you this one. This one we created yesterday. It's a little different because we actually folded the entire card back. So it looks a little different. And you know, I love stripes. And look at this one. We simply took that same stamp set, the sunflower, and we just used it as a background. And then we matted it so that we wouldn't stamp over this, and we colored it. Now this one, look, we raised it up on dimensionals. And I think this is a really pretty technique to use, like the black and white, and then offset it with some that are in color, but not everything's in color. I think that's so nice. And then look at this. All I can say is thanks. That's from that Diamond Press Thanks a Bunch stamp set. Oh, I really like that one. And look at this. Remember I told you about that embossing stamp? Look at that. Doesn't it look like crackle? And we just put a border right in the middle, and we cut these out, and we use that beautiful sentiment stamp set that we said. And why we like it so much is it's separate. Every word is separate. How nice is that? There's so many possibilities. And then we just put our little sunflower down again. So pretty. Now this one's just very different. This is our final one. This was the I appreciate. I told you, I appreciate you. But yes, we have a sunflower because we're talking about sunflowers, right? So we stamped it and just put a leaf right there. And those are our possibilities with these stamp sets. Well, thank you so much for sharing your time with us today. My goodness, 25 minutes goes by fast, doesn't it? We hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, could you give us a thumbs up? We'd really appreciate it. And hey, don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell, and that way you know when our next video is. Go out and be safe and healthy, and be creative in your crafting, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.